There's something really unsettling about letting strangers from the internet come to your house. Most people know that. But when you're moving out of an apartment and trying to get rid of furniture fast, convenience starts overriding common sense. This happened to me in late 2024. I was getting ready to move across the country for college, and I had this heavy, solid wood bed frame I didn't want to take with me. It was huge, awkward, and honestly not worth selling. So I listed it online for free. I figured someone would grab it within a day or two. I was wrong. It took less than 10 minutes. The message came from an account with no profile picture. Just random letters for a username. It said, "Still available? I can pick it up now." That should have been my first red flag. But at the time, I was just relieved someone wanted it. I sent him my address and told him to pull into the alley behind the building where the loading zone was. About 15 minutes later, a faded white cargo van rolled into the alley. I remember noticing how damaged it was. One of the headlights was cracked. Rust around the wheel wells. Deep dents along the side doors. The van looked like it had been abandoned somewhere and barely brought back to life. Then the driver stepped out. Older guy, probably late 50s. Flannel shirt, baseball cap pulled low, gray stubble. He smiled when he saw me, but something about it looked forced, like he was trying too hard to seem normal. Still, he was polite, quiet, didn't say much. We headed upstairs to my apartment, and while we were carrying the bed frame down the hallway, I noticed something weird. He didn't bring any moving equipment, no straps, no gloves, no blankets, nothing. Most people show up prepared when they're picking up furniture. This guy came empty-handed. Halfway down the stairwell, he suddenly groaned and dropped his side of the frame. The sound echoed through the building. He grabbed his lower back and cursed under his breath. "Sorry," he said. "Back's killing me today." He laughed awkwardly. Then he looked at me and asked, "Mind carrying most of the weight down first? I'll guide it from behind." I didn't really think much of it. I just wanted the thing gone. So I agreed. That was probably the moment I stopped being safe. We finally got the bed frame loaded into the van. As I closed the rear doors, the guy suddenly patted his pockets and muttered, "Ah, damn." He looked genuinely panicked. "My phone," he said. "I think I left it on your kitchen counter." Then he winced dramatically and grabbed his back again. "Would you mind grabbing it for me? I can barely straighten up right now." I told him it was fine. I turned and jogged back upstairs. The second I walked into my apartment, something felt off. I don't know how to explain it. It was just this horrible gut feeling. The kitchen was empty. No phone on the counter. I checked the table. Nothing. Then the floor. Nothing. And that's when it hit me. I never saw him holding a phone. Not once. My stomach dropped. Hard. I immediately turned toward the front door, and for one horrible second, I thought I saw movement in the hallway near my bedroom. I ran, slammed the apartment door shut, locked both deadbolts. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the second lock in. Then silence. Complete silence. I stood there listening. No footsteps, no knocking. Nothing. That somehow made it worse. A few minutes passed. I stayed frozen near the door, trying to convince myself I was overreacting. Then my phone vibrated. The sound nearly made me jump out of my skin. It was a notification from my security app. Motion detected in master bedroom closet. I forgot to breathe. A few months earlier, after a break-in happened in another unit, I'd installed a cheap motion camera inside my bedroom closet. I opened the app. The live feed loaded slowly, too slowly. Then the night vision kicked in. Everything turned grainy green. Winter coats hanging motionless, dark corners. Stillness. At first I didn't see anything. Then I noticed the flannel shirt. My entire body went cold. He was standing inside the closet, perfectly still, hidden between my hanging clothes, and he was staring directly into the camera, smiling. Not a normal smile either. Wide, empty, like he knew I was watching him. I remember my hands going numb. I couldn't think straight anymore. The guy never forgot his phone. The whole thing was planned. The fake back injury, making me carry the furniture ahead of him so I couldn't see what he was doing behind me. The phone excuse getting me into the kitchen while my back was turned. At some point, while I searched for a phone that never existed, he slipped silently past the entryway and hid inside my bedroom, inside my closet, waiting. I didn't scream. I didn't call out, because I knew if he heard panic in my voice, he'd know I found him. I slowly backed toward the front door without taking my eyes off the phone screen. The live feed never moved. He just stood there, smiling into the camera, like he was waiting for me to come into the room. I unlocked the deadbolts as quietly as I could. Every tiny click sounded deafening. Then I opened the apartment door, stepped into the hallway, and the second the door shut behind me, I ran. I don't think I've ever run that fast in my life. I flew down the stairs, nearly slipping at the bottom, and sprinted down the street to a gas station a block away. I called 911, shaking so hard I could barely speak. The police arrived within minutes. But when they searched my apartment, the closet was empty. The man was gone. The only thing left behind was one displaced coat hanger lying on the floor. The police think he escaped down the fire escape after hearing me leave. But there's one thing I never told them. Right before I exited the security app, the man leaned slightly closer to the camera, still smiling, and whispered something. I replayed the footage over and over afterward, trying to make it out. Eventually, I did. He said, "You were supposed to fall asleep first."